Welcome back to Dr. Stone Anime Review, episode 4. And this will be the last one to talk about for this. I will talk about the manga chapters when they come out, but for the main series, it's going to go on break until when the series comes back in January. Yep, only about 4 months from now when it comes back. This one's just in the first Hyoga arc, which covers 18 and 19, and the communications arc, which mostly starts adapting in the last 5 episodes of season 1. The first Hyoga arc is simply the introduction of the character Hyoga. Now, the first episode of this picks up exactly where the village origins left off. We're still partying, and the two brothers basically have to go back to their duty. And then, of course, some brutes show up, namely from Togosa's group. And, of course, the older of the two brothers decided to send the younger one back to celebrate that they're under attack. But they were spooked away via Sengoku basically having a frick. Though, of course, Gin tells Magma, throw this big rock over that direction. Though was able to spook them because they apparently invented the gun. Yep, the frickin' gun. Though the Mentalist runs away with them. Gin the Mentalist. I should point out though, Hyoga was actually very recently, he was revived just prior to Gin. And the thing about this guy, he's voiced by Jerry Jewell. Yep, Jerry Jewell. I'm like, did I see him? I was thinking though, did I just see him in another anime? Oh yeah, I saw him in One Piece voicing Caesar Clown because he's very recently doing it. The first series I can think of, I've heard him in a few different series. The most noteworthy series I've heard him in was the English dub for Case Closed, voicing Jimmy Kudo and the Kaido Kid. Yep, he voices both of them. The guy's one really good voice actor. And it seems like, though, with Hyoga, he's technically a villain, but it seems like, though, he's very interesting to listen to. I love the guy's voice. And he has this really big bamboo spear he's very proud of. Though Gin touches it, he's like, don't touch that if you want to live. So then, of course, they have to basically come. Of course, they blunt the fact they have a billion guns, even though they really don't. So they come up with the alternative: make katanas, Japanese katanas. Which, yeah, thanks to science, they would skip some steps. And they make really good katanas. Basically, a lot of them do have them. Sengoku doesn't carry one, but mostly just Kohaku, Magma, the two brothers. Chrome's got one. The Craftsman doesn't. Yeah, the Craftsman, he showed up during the King of Science arc. Kinki, I think his name is. He's a 60-year-old man who's very ripped for his age. And he helps them a lot. He was sort of dragged into helping them. But the thing is, the first time you see him help them out is when they make glass to make the beakers to help them make antibiotics. And, of course, he helps them out a lot more when when Sengoku tells him about making katanas, he's so happy, so excited, so he just basically rips his clothes. He just bulks up and apparently sheds all of his clothes. Though he did get back, no problem later. It's a recurring trope with the series for this character, where he's so excited he just rips his clothes, shows off his ripped body every time. The one time they actually went in from the front, they actually managed to have it where he comes up his groin, which, thank you, I do not need to see the guy's groin. So they make the katanas and able to beat the big bulky guys with spears. Now, the whole thing with Togi is revive people were innocent. And it was pointed out with some commenters, I do agree with them on this. People who comment on the Funimation website about when they see Togoya's, members of his army. They look like regular thugs. Why the heck he would revive them? Yeah, the series never bothers to explain. But it looks like, though, when they show his place later, it looks like he revived characters we see a little bit later. We see appearance of a reporter. Yes, several characters. We see brief cameos by them. They don't say anything. We see Awesome again in the final episode, showing up what's going to happen next season. So, Hyoga is defeated because, Gin sabotages his spear, so Gin, of course, stays behind with the King of Science. Hyoga leaves, but he says he'll come back, though his woman, Homa, I think her name is, she ends up burning part of the village, though they would reveal no much a problem. So, they need to find a way to build up some stuff to take on Togoya. So, what do? Sengoku comes with the most ingenious thing that he can think of. Make a cell phone. Yep, no, it looks nothing like this at all. His version of a cell phone is like an old, ancient version of a cell phone, so they need wire, they need a whole bunch of stuff. They also need to create this. They also need to find this particular mineral called Tagus, I think I pronounced it. Yes, but what I've saw on the show, this might be true. This might be the same material that NASA uses to put on their rockets and the space shuttle when they get launched to space as sort of their heat shield for all their stuff they send up to space. So basically, they had to go to this cave, which they go spelunking. Yep, and they were able to go thanks to special light bulbs they made. So basically, they made their own portable flat. And of course, Gee makes their own portable flashlight with a light bulb, which that's a genius. Yeah, carry around a makeshift flashlight. That's quite hilarious. So, thanks to, and of course, also, they make some golden wire, though they also have to do this in the wintertime. Because Seku's basically asked to do something with making wire. And of course, this lasts for a bit, and then all of a sudden the fingers start going numb, and Sengoku's like, let me do something about that. Heating! Yep, puts basically furnaces in all the huts, and this is so they can make the wire no problem. Their hands can feel so warm and toasty while they're basically doing this. Basically, it's all the kids, including a couple of senior citizens, basically help out, and they make all the golden wire they need, which, this was a smart idea. Give the kids something to do, instead of being bored doing nothing. And of course, Magma helps out basically making all the stuff make vacuum tubes. Now I heard a vacuum, like, wait, vacuum tubes? Mean the stuff they use in radios? They used to use, basically they're, from what I've seen pictures of these things, they're basically kind of like skinnier versions of the classic light bulb. They mentioned Thomas Edison, how, I love the fact they actually brought up stuff with Edison, which a lot of stuff related to Thomas Edison they bring up in this series is completely accurate. Because the thing is, the writers of the series basically is very accurate when it comes to real life science. Because a lot of the stuff that Sengoku says is pretty much all true. Well, a lot of the stuff surrounding the real life science is all fake. So it takes them a good long while to make an actual working cell phone. And then they discovered that they need something like a speaker. And of course, they mentioned all thing about like a needle and its big voice of the dead. And he realizes, oh, wait. He goes back to the lead cemetery. He's like, wait, this is too simple to be a cemetery. So they mentioned something about a time capsule, which I've actually helped make one of those, believe it or not, a long time ago. And of course, it was buried in the ground, and that was years ago. I have no idea what the damn thing is. So they find this piece of glass, which basically is a record, and they basically use the same stuff to make a cell phone. They had to make two of these things to communicate. So the first thing, and of course, Chrome was the first thing he says, and of course, Giru wants him to use it to confess his love to Riri, but he doesn't. He says, "Science is so bad." Like, I don't know why there's this catchphrase. He's like, it's awesome. Of course, yeah, they agree with him. But do you know, believe it or not, that's not exactly what the first word said over telephone was. From what I've heard, the first word said over telephone was, "Watson, come here." Yep, that was the first words that I could think of. That's what I've heard when the telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell years ago. This is back in the 1900s. How do I know this? I read American history. So, of course, everybody knows Chrome's got a thing for Riri, and it's implied Riri's got a thing for him too. Which, this is one couple I wouldn't mind seeing in the series. Though they haven't really developed this relationship that much. It's implied Kohaku might have a thing for Sengoku, but it's been mildly developed. She's had some jealousy over another woman in the series, and she also hugged Sengoku once, which Sengoku didn't have a problem with, although he got shocked when he got kissed by another woman in the cheek. Which I'll discuss that probably whenever I get a chance to discuss the manga. Well, I'm probably discussing the arcs what happened right after this, because I really let the anime take care of that. So after taking time making the cell phone, when they were getting this particular mineral in the cave, Magma nearly tries to kill Sengoku because he really wants the village, though they have saved, and thanks to, well, he points out, though, about the whole thing that he thinks of the weak control the strong. He's like, no, that's not entirely accurate. We divide the work evenly among everybody and make everybody contribute to society, which that mostly is true. So after they get out of the cave, then of course they make the stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also there's a couple of things interesting happen. Like the first he uses the light bulbs to make a Christmas tree and celebrate Christmas for the first time, and then they celebrate St. Goku's birthday by having the characters make him a telescope looking outer space. And the first thing he sees is Saturn. Yes, it's frickin' Saturn. Though it could easily be some other planet, but it looks like frickin' Saturn to me. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention in the verse of Hyoga, he kind of pointed out, I think it was during the Kingdom of Science arc, he pointed this out, that the Earth's axis has been tilted a bit, where it's not completely off the axis, is that it's slightly shifted. Though he doesn't go back to this, but that was an interesting thing he found out when he noticed that North Star was not exactly north. It was slightly off because the Earth tilted a bit. Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course, when they celebrate New Year's, they basically watch the first New Year's sunrise. They did one of the episodes, and then we see like various characters who's going to show up in the next season. One, of course, is I think he's a reporter, not a reporter, basically a businessman. Which I'm looking forward to see these characters. It's nice still to find an episode kind of debuts this, though when they show up the record, they have Hyoga basically narrating the damn thing, and also having Lily do a concert on the record, which that was quite nice. And apparently, these people had never heard of recording before, so they're all shocked to hear the voices of the founders of the village, who are pretty much astronauts. Yep. But yeah, not much. And of course, the final thing you see in the series is see Toja and Yuru just waiting for. You see them for the first time since episode 6 of the series, where they're just waiting in anticipation for their call to action against Tosia. Yep, that's all I can remember what happened in these episodes. But this season has been so fun to watch. And I'm definitely looking forward to when Season 2 starts up, the Stone Wars. Which, I should point out though, when it comes to what after the communications arc for the last 5 episodes, they started with the first chapter, which was, it was chapter 51. And then just 5 episodes, they only covered like roughly the first 10 chapters of this 32 chapter arc. Yep. I'm definitely looking forward to whenever the season starts up again in January. And expect to see weekly reviews of it when it comes out. Hopefully Funimation releases an English dub of the damn thing. So yeah, that's it for Singular Review, and well, that's kind of it for this video of the series for now, until whatever new chapter comes out for the series. My next video I'm going to do is a review of the newest episode of ReZero, provided if that came out today. If not, don't worry about it. So if it didn't come out today, I'm probably just going to go straight back to Naruto, okay? This next video. Bye.